In this video, we'll look at 10, and in reality, a few more, phrases from a woman that show she doesn't respect a man. Kicking off our countdown is the phrase, "I don't have to report to you." It's extremely unpleasant for a man to hear something like this from a woman, and she knows it perfectly well. Before this line gets dropped, the man was likely asking her simple, reasonable questions: where she was going, when she'd be back, what she was up to, or what her plans were. Basically, if a woman isn't the right one for a serious relationship, you can get this kind of disrespectful response to what are otherwise perfectly normal questions. The second point, when she calls you by an overly familiar nickname, even though you barely know each other. You know, like Johnny, Jordy, Polly, and so on. This isn't just a lack of respect, it's a hidden form of contempt. I generally agree that there is an element of disrespect here. However, it's also possible that this is just the woman's communication style and she addresses everyone this way, regardless of whether she respects them or not. Of course, that doesn't excuse her because, in my opinion, a communication style like that still suggests she isn't the best candidate for a serious relationship. Next up is when a woman addresses you in a seemingly joking way, like calling you silly goose or goofball. To many men, these kinds of remarks might seem harmless at first glance. I mean, it's not like she called you an idiot or something worse, right? But in this case, you shouldn't focus on the wording, but on the underlying meaning. A woman who respects a man is very unlikely to call him names like that, even in a lighthearted way or even if she has a good reason for it. The fourth phrase is when she says with regret that she wasted her best years on you. Logically, by this point, the man has been with the woman for many years, and you would expect there to be a sense of unity and mutual respect. But when a woman utters this phrase, it means your value in her eyes is at a very low point. She believes she settled for less than she deserved. Here, the situation can be the complete opposite. Men also often regret their wasted years, and there might be several decades of them. So, to avoid finding yourself in this situation, you need to understand from the very beginning what you want from a relationship and choose a woman based on your goals. In other words, if your goal is to build a strong, lasting partnership, then you should choose a woman with whom that is possible, not one who is merely about looking flashy and playing emotional games. The next phrase is, "You're all the same, all you men are." This is usually followed by a word that's not advisable to say on YouTube. Essentially, she's saying, "That's all you ever want and all you ever think about." As for the "all the same" part, that's self-explanatory. Tarring everyone with the same brush is a sign of a person who isn't exactly a deep thinker. I mean, are we to believe that a man working at a factory or in a mine is thinking, "Oh man, I really need to have sex with someone right now"? Or that firefighters, while busy with their work, are all thinking about that? It sounds like a joke, and in fact, that's exactly what it is. Next, we have a set of phrases. "I'm not having kids on credit." A man should be a provider. "Go find yourself a younger woman." "Make it so I don't have to work this job anymore." The whole spiel about what a man should be and do probably doesn't surprise anyone anymore. Some women perceive men purely as solvers for their problems. Here we can clearly see a consumerist attitude from the woman. This is also true in the case where she tells you to make it so she doesn't have to work. Most often, you'll hear words like these from a woman who wants you to be her sole provider, so she doesn't have to do much of anything herself. In the vast majority of cases, I would say the best scenario is when both the man and the woman have jobs and earn their own money. Personally, I'm open to a situation where the woman doesn't have an outside job and focuses on the home, but with a lot of caveats. First, she shouldn't see staying at home as a vacation or a chance to do nothing. To put it bluntly, the food should be cooked, the clothes should be washed, and the whole place should be spotless. Second, even with all of the above, that still doesn't add up to an 8-hour workday. And it would be excellent if she dedicated at least a couple of hours a day to working online, to bring in at least some small amount of money. Fortunately, there are plenty of opportunities for that these days. Another phrase is, "What you don't know can't hurt you." You might also hear this in a cruder form, like, "Stay out of my life," or "Mind your own business." The underlying meaning is roughly the same. In this case as well, it's hardly about respect. Obviously, by saying this, a woman wants to hide something from you. Naturally, in a healthy relationship with a suitable woman who respects you, you would never hear a phrase like this, because all those secrets can ultimately come back to hurt you. Another common phrase is, "But my friend's boyfriend doesn't do that." Or its more direct version, "He bought her all these gifts and a car while you're just a cheap loser." For most men, the disrespect becomes obvious only when the woman stops hiding it completely and outright calls him a loser or something similar. But even if you remove the insults from the equation, the picture is still pretty bleak. She is directly telling you that you are worse than another man, and that he is, accordingly, better than you. Often, this is a conscious manipulation tactic to shame you into giving her what she wants. Once again, it's about using you, not respecting you. The next phrase is, "I'm not holding anyone back," or "I'm not keeping you here." When she says this, there's a chance she's thinking the exact opposite and is testing you. But as a rule, it's better not to argue and to simply agree with her. Immediately. In my opinion, it also doesn't really matter if it was a test or not. You can simply say, "Okay, you're not holding me, and I'm not holding you either." That will be the best response, regardless of her true intention. After all, a loving, worthy partner would never, under any circumstances, show such neglect toward someone close to them, let alone play these kinds of mind games. If she doesn't value or care for you, you will feel it. Trust your gut on this. She might show no interest, become cold. This means that in your minds, you've already broken up. And in that case, breaking up is likely the one and only thing you should agree to as soon as possible. There's not much else to add. The encouraging thing is that more and more men are learning to recognize these phrases from women that signal a lack of respect. 2 more phrases. "I don't need anything else from you," and "I live my life and do what I want, and I'm not interested in anyone else." It's astonishing, but there are men who react to such an obvious display of disrespect as if it were perfectly normal. They continue to engage with a woman who isn't shy about making such statements. These men often unconsciously try to get closer to her, thereby rewarding her behavior. I, however, am for reacting adequately to a woman's words and actions. Respond to distance with distance, and to closeness with closeness. Not the other way around. I hope this video helps you to make the right decision. See you in the next video.